Hello, guys. Welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to be joined with Jackson Osagie. He's 2 wins, 1 defeat, 1 draw. Back out this Saturday against Kieran Smith in Scotland over 8 rounds. And yeah, how are we, mate?
We're fine, thank you very much. How you doing?
Yes, I'm good, mate. My first question is, how did you get into boxing?
Yeah, good question. I got into boxing, that was 3 years ago. That was 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, September 2020 was during the COVID time. So I've always wanted to fight. I've always wanted to box, but I never had the opportunity or probably the right environment to kind of like get into it. So it's just been like it was always been like more of like assumption, I mean, imagination. I've always imagined me fighting, but never really pushed myself or like, had the opportunity to actually become a boxer until 2020 during COVID when everybody was locked down. So I was like, you know what, instead of being home smoking weed all day, getting confused and getting messed up in my head, why don't I just go out there and do something different? So I picked up the challenge and that's what it is. I just started running, then I looked for a boxing gym, registered myself, and I just kept on training up to now.
Mm-hmm. And of course, did you have an amateur career?
I did amateur after 6 months, of my boxing training, and my coach put me on the amateur. So I had free fight amateur, and then I moved up to the elite level after free fight. So normally, I think then they said that you could have only moved up to the elite if you've already had like 50 odd fights. But then I don't know what happened. I just think it was grace or during that period, the rules changed in it. And they said I could have, if the coach actually believes in the fighter, he could move up to elite. And they put me onto an elite. So I went to the first tournament on elite. So it was a tournament. So I went there and I became the West Midland 81 champion. That was 2022
Mm-hmm.
last year. So after that, I had another two fights, and then I moved up to pro.
Mm-hmm. And
And yeah,
your pro career, you made your debut back in December last year, and you fought Harry Matthews, and you beat him 40-35. Talk about that fight.
correct. Yeah. Like I said, it's still a new thing to me. It's like so. I fought Harry Matthew. He was a good fighter. He was a tough guy. Like if you know his record, I think he's probably had like 60 odd fights, altogether. So he had a lot of experience, how to use the ring and everything. But I was just still a novice. So it wasn't really, I know I can fight, but then boxing and fighting is two different things. So, but when I got there, I felt a little bit pressured, you know what I mean? Like it was my first pro fight, families and all watching. So I did the bit I could have done and I did what I could have done and I did. And I managed to win the fight and I moved back to the ring, back to the camp and start training and improving every day.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you did put him down in the fourth round. Did you expect him to get back up?
Yeah, I did expect him to get back up because obviously I put him down, but I knew it wasn't it wasn't really like a shot I would expect to knock a fighter like him down. So I wasn't expecting him not to get back up. So I knew he was gonna get back up. I was just waiting for him to get back up and let's carry on. So yeah, that's it. And
Mm-hmm.
he did get back up and kept on fighting.
He was tough, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a tough guy. He's a tough guy, obviously. You know how it is. He knows how to protect himself. That's the most important thing. And obviously, I had a little bit of, I was, like I said, I'm still a novice. So I had a little bit of to work on cutting the rings and all that. So kind of like he used his experience. So I was just kind of like using raw power while he was kind of like using boxing experience. So that did save him. kind of, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you fought in April this year. You fought Robbie Connor in the Holiday Inn in Birmingham, and you beat him 39-37, and it was a great fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a great fight. He was a strong lad, from Scotland. He was a strong lad. So obviously, I will fight anyone. But at that time of level of my fight, my second fight, I thought they said he was a champion from Wales, some amateurs champion, and he was a tough guy. So for me, it was always I always wanted to fight good fighters, people that I could learn from. You know what I mean? So that was a tough fight. It was a good fight still, and I managed to get the win. But he's a good lad and a strong lad, I would say. Yeah.
Of course, it was of course it was a close fight. When it went when the final bell rang, how confident were you that you were going to get announced the winner?
Uh, Obviously, I was confident because I've landed more shot than I took. So that was really, I don't really know much about how the judges, I wouldn't know what the judges are looking at, what they're going to say. But deep down in me, my confidence was like, I did land more shot than I received. So it was more like anytime I received one, I tried to land two or three. So I was just using that methodology, you get me? So that's what I was doing. So at the end of the day, I felt like I was successful on my plans. So I knew I won. But then the judges also saw I won.
Mm-hmm. And then you fought in June. You fought June the 10th at the Planet Ice in Solihull, and you lost 39-37 to Lewis Howell, but another great fight.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another good fight. It was a 50-50 fight. So he was undefeated. And that day, no excuses, that day I literally I was told not to fight. Like, you know what I mean? I felt like I was a little bit too stubborn because even before the fight, the doctors came to the room and they told me, you can't fight because your eyes, because I was having like a lump in my eyes, on my right eyes. If you watch the video, even when I was walking to the ring, my eyes was already closed. So I was literally with one eyes. But I was so eager to fight, I didn't really care about the eyes. I went there, and as soon as we got into the fight, the first round, when this, so I was just swinging. I just tried to, like, you know what, we're already here, we got to fight. And I lost to him. Fair play, he's a good boxer, you could see the shots coming because obviously due to my experience, my sight and everything. And then he won 39-37, like they said. So after the fight, I wasn't really after the fight, I felt like who is going to win. I didn't know who won, to be honest. So I didn't know if I won or if he won me. So it wasn't like I was so sure that, yeah, he's beat me. Because if you watch the fight, it was more of like a crappy fight, I would say after going back to the camp and now training, learning more about how this boxing should go on. I feel like it was more of a scrappy fight. So on a normal day, it would have been an easy fight for me, but due to experience, circumstances, you just have to take that as a lesson. You know what I mean?
Was it hard to take that defeat?
And it wasn't hard at all. It wasn't hard at all because all my life, I think I've kind of like used to being defeat. I kind of, what will I say? It's like, I would say I'm used to being defeated. It's like I know how to take losses because that's what kind of like make me to become what I am and what I want to become. So I knew obviously it's boxing, is fighting, in it. You win some, you lose some. So when I'm always happy for my victory, I'm kind of like prepared also for the losses, which is going to be a lesson. So
Mm-hmm.
it's more space and time and opportunity to improve.
Mm-hmm. And then you fought September. You've been really active this year, and you've got a few booked in. You drew to Robbie Chapman, another toe-to-toe war, pretty much 38-38.
Mm. Well, that fight, I don't know, I clearly won the fight. I would say anywhere, anytime, and the audience knew I won the fight. The the officials knew I won the fight. Everybody knew I won the fight, but it seems something was going up there. It seems they already had their plans or whatever. I don't know. This is boxing. There's a lot of things involved. But it was a good fight. He's a tough guy. Like I said, he's had like 42 odd fights. He got more experience. He's been fighting for years. So I think if I was probably be fighting for how many years he's been fighting, he won't be on that ring with me more than 2 rounds. But coming from where I'm coming from, it's been a short time. It's been 3 years. So I still won the fight, but they had to call it a draw. But it is what it is. But it was a good experience and it was a good lad still, to be honest. Tough, yeah.
Was it good boxing in front of like Ricky Hatton and Johnny Nelson?
Yeah, it was good. It was good experience. It was something amazing. I've always seen these people on the TV. I've always seen them on the TV, even when I never even thought of being a boxer. And all of a sudden, I'm in a show where they're all there and involved. So I already knew where this is just the beginning, isn't it? So probably one day I'll get to meet Anthony Joshua, meet the rest of these big ones that they kind of like my idol. You know what I mean? So it was a good experience. Yeah.
Talking about Anthony Joshua, of course that's a big card. Of course he's got Otto Wall next. Do you think AJ will get the knockout, or how do you see that fight going?
I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to really predict fight. As a boxer, I like people outside do predict fight, but for me, I don't really predict fight. It depends on how ready he is. Anything can happen in the boxing ring, you know what I mean? Anything can happen. So if I know AJ has it, he got the power, he got everything. He just need to get ready and believe in himself and go there and get it done.
And of course, you've got Kieran Smith this weekend, who's coming off a knockout defeat to, of course, Denzel Bentley. Like, so yeah, you've got him over 8 rounds. And talk about how the fight. Firstly, talk about how the fight came about.
Oh, it just came about, and so obviously I've decided to like move up to the road, not on the road like an away fighter. So I think this was my third offer. The first two they pulled out. I don't know, for some reason one got injured and the other one probably got cold feet, I would say, you know what I mean? So when this one came up to my manager and called me, rang me, and he said, do I want to fight Kevin? Sent me his name. He's 18-2, was a contendant of world champion and all that. So he's a good fighter, tough and all that. I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, we are made to fight. I'm in here to fight. I don't pick and choose who to fight. Just put me in there and let me know what day, and I'll prepare myself. You know what I mean? I go there, I fight, I do what I can do. If the victory is mine, Alhamdulillah. If it's not, I go back to improve. Yeah.
And what do you know about Kieran Smith? Like, do you watch your opponents? Do you study them?
I wouldn't say I study them. So obviously, I don't really care about them. I don't really study them much because it's like if they go out there trying to study me, they're wasting their time. Because what you read today might not be what you see the day you're in front of me. You know what I mean? So I don't really emphasize on that. But I do see, obviously, when they send me their name, I do put them on TV and just glance through and see probably just one fight and see who the guy is. And that's just one fight. I wouldn't say study, just watch them for a bit and that's it. Yeah.
Of course, Kieran's coming off a knockout defeat. Do you think you'll knock him out?
I don't want to think, that's the plan, is to get knocked out. Because at the end of the day, I'm fighting in his home and I'm the away fighter. So we definitely know this is boxing, in it. We definitely know all advantages is on his side. If that fight is to go to a close fight, I don't put no hopes in the judges, you know what I mean? So I need to make sure I leave nothing for the judge if I have to take my win back home. So definitely, if a knockout has to get that done, definitely I'm going to be a knockout then. If it happens.
What's because of course when you flying out to Scotland? Of course.
We'll be flying out on Friday early in the morning, so 5 o'clock. Yeah, we've got the way in at about 2 o'clock. So
Do you prefer day before weigh-ins or day of the fight weigh-ins?
It depends. It depends. I don't really bother. I think obviously it depends. It depends. It depends on the weight. Sometimes you have to work on your weight and things like that. You know what I mean? And day after or day or same day for me it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? So it's all they're doing. Whichever they say it is, I'm okay. I'm comfortable with it.
Of course, you've got if Wickham King also booked in. For you, is it just to see how many fights you can just always on the like just get as many fights as you can? Is that the goal for you?
Say that again.
Like, what's the goal for you?
My goal. My goal is I go. It's a big goal. At the end of the day, it's more like we all know why we get into boxing. I'm not I'm not happy to. It's not like I get fun hurting people, but obviously it's a sport where you kind of like show knowledge, experience, and at the same time be able to make a living out of it from your own power, strength given to you by God. So I believe I got into this sport because I knew at the end of the day, God bless every man with wisdom and strength. So, and whatever God gives you is what you need to use to to support yourself while you're on earth. So I feel like if I would say my goal is not to make a living out of boxing, then I'm lying to myself. So my goal is to try. I started boxing very late. So obviously my goal right now is to try my best, push myself to a place where I'm able one day and look back and say, oh, thank God I did this and I'm happy and I'm comfortable with what I've achieved.
Hmm.
So that's really what it is, you know what I mean?
And do you want before I let you go? Do you want to thank whether that's manager, trainers, anybody?
Yeah, definitely. I want to try and thank my coaches and my managers. Naj was my manager, and Sivian Alain, that's my coach, and my team High Tech, my Cracker Gym, and all that. Team Spider. So shout out to also all my fans that's been supporting me, and I hope I keep working hard and doing more. And inshallah, one day I'll prove myself and prove them right and
Hmm.
make them happy.
And from me, thank you for your time, mate, and good luck with the fight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me over and God bless you.
Thank you, mate. Bye.
Take care of yourself. Bye bye.